Son gave me 30 days to leave, so I transferred house to his sister and relocated to Malibu. Image prompt: a tense sunset over a sprawling Malibu beachfront mansion, where a middle-aged woman in a flowing white sundress stands defiantly on the balcony, her silhouette sharp against the fiery orange sky. Gazing back at a distant, shadowy figure on the highway below, a man in a sleek black SUV, frozen in hesitation. The ocean waves crashing like unspoken regrets between them, realistic cinematic style. High contrast lighting, evoking raw emotional confrontation without violence. I died choking on my own blood, the taste of betrayal as metallic as the knife my son, Ethan, had plunged into my back, figuratively, at first, then literally when the pills he slipped into my wine finally kicked in. The last thing I saw was his face, twisted in smug satisfaction, whispering, "Mom, it's time you let go." But death isn't the end, it's a goddamn reset button. And here I am, Lydia Harper, 48 again, staring at the same faded kitchen calendar marking the day he served me those eviction papers. My heart pounding like a war drum, knowing exactly how this ends unless I rewrite the script. The hook hits harder when you realize the son you raised from scraped knees and little league dreams isn't just ungrateful, he's a monster who orchestrated your ruin for a quick inheritance flip. I blinked awake in my creaky queen bed in that overmortgaged Tudor in suburban Chicago. The alarm clock screaming 6:45 a.m. October 15th, the date I'd circled in red before it all went to hell. My hands, younger, unscarred, trembled as I touched my neck, feeling the pulse that should have stopped 2 years from now. The coffee machine gurgled like an old friend, spitting out the same bitter roast I'd brewed every morning for 20 years. But today it tasted like victory, or at least the promise of it. I stood there in my threadbare robe, the one with the frayed hem from Ethan's childhood spills, and let the steam curl up like ghosts from my past life. Past life? Yeah, that's what this was now. A do-over courtesy of whatever cosmic joke had decided Lydia Harper deserved a second shot at justice. Ethan was 28, fresh off his MBA from Northwestern, climbing the corporate ladder at some soulless hedge fund in the Loop. He'd always been ambitious, the kind of kid who alphabetized his action figures and negotiated bedtime extensions like a pint-sized lawyer. I raised him alone after his dad, Mark, bailed for a younger model in Vegas when Ethan was 5. Mark left me the house, a crumbling 3-bedroom on Elm Street that I'd poured my soul into fixing up, and a mountain of debt that kept me chained to my nursing job at Rush University Medical Center. In my first go-round, Ethan had played the dutiful son right up until he didn't. It started with helpful suggestions. "Mom, this place is falling apart. Let me handle the finances." Then the subtle digs about my outdated life, how I should downsize for my golden years. By the time he dropped the bomb, 30 days to vacate because he'd secured a buyer for the house, I was drowning in confusion and hurt. He claimed it was for my own good, to fund my retirement. Lies. The buyer was a shell company he controlled, flipping the property for twice what it was worth, pocketing the cash while I ended up in a dingy assisted living hellhole, popping antidepressants like candy. The betrayal deepened when I discovered the secret he'd buried. The house wasn't just equity, it was my leverage against Mark's shady dealings. Turns out, my ex had laundered money through fake renovations I'd signed off on years ago, back when love blinded me to red flags. Ethan knew, hell. He dug it up during law school research for a family history project. Instead of protecting me, he used it as blackmail fodder. When I confronted him about the eviction, he countered with threats: sign over the deed quietly, or he'd tip off the feds about the old money trail, painting me as the mastermind. I crumbled. The pills came later. Accidental overdose after he helped with my meds one lonely night.
But now?
Now I was armed with foreknowledge, a mental Rolodex of his every move. I sipped my coffee, black as my resolve, and pulled out my phone. First call, my lawyer, Rebecca Klein, a shark in pearls who'd handled my divorce. Becky, it's Lydia. I need an emergency consult. Yeah, today. She met me at her loop office by noon, the skyline glittering like fool's gold outside her floor-to-ceiling windows. Rebecca was in her 50s, sharp as a scalpel, with a no-bullshit Midwestern twang that made clients feel like they were confessing to a wise aunt. Whitey, you look like you've seen a ghost. What's the fire? I laid it out, not the reincarnation part. That'd get me a psych eval, but the premonition dream, the gut feeling, Ethan was scheming. He's gunning for the house.
Bex.
I can feel it. But there's more. Remember those renovation loans from Mark? I think Ethan's sniffing around them. Her eyebrows shot up, but she didn't flinch. Jesus.
Girl.
If that's tied to fraud, you're sitting on a powder keg. We need docs, everything. And a title search. Stat. By evening, we had the papers spread across her desk like a battlefield map. The house was in my name, clear title. But those old loans, buried in fine print, co-signed by Mark, with clauses that could claw back equity if irregularities surfaced. Ethan hadn't filed yet, but my reborn gut screamed he would. What if we transfer it? I said, voice steady. Not to him, to someone he can't touch. Rebecca leaned back, steepling her fingers. Like who? Your sister? She's in Florida, right? Aunt Clara. Ethan's aunt, my baby sis, the free-spirited artist who'd crashed on my couch more times than I could count. She was the one family member Ethan dismissed as flaky, but she loved that house, had painted murals in the basement during her divorce phase. Clara, I confirmed. Joint tenancy. Irrevocable. He can't contest it without proving fraud, and even then, it's her asset now. It's aggressive, Rebecca warned, eyes gleaming. Could burn bridges. Family law gets messy with gifts like this, tax implications, undue influence claims. Let it burn, I said, the words tasting like ash and adrenaline. Controversial? Hell yes. Handing over your home to spite your own son? That's the kind of move that makes Thanksgiving a war zone. But in my first life, I'd played nice and ended up buried. This time, nice was off the table. We filed the transfer that night, notarized under emergency provisions. Clara, bless her, didn't hesitate when I called. Sis, you sure? Ethan's gonna flip. Let him. I'm done being his doormat. The next morning, Ethan showed up unannounced, his Armani suit crisp as a smile.
Mom.
We need to talk about the house. He breezed into the kitchen, dropping a manila folder on the counter, prepped eviction notice. 30-day clock ticking. I poured him coffee, casual as sin, and slid the transfer docs across. Talk all you want,
Kiddo.
but it's Clara's now. His face, oh, that face. The color drained like bad milk, eyes narrowing to slits. What the hell? You can't just. I can. And I did. Irrevocable gift. Consult your lawyer. He snatched the papers, scanning furiously. This is insane.
Mom.
You're sabotaging yourself. I was doing this for you, forcing a sale to get you out of this money pit. Liar, I whispered, but loud enough to echo. In my head, the blood from that night pooled again, but I shoved it down. I know about the loans.
Ethan.
Mark's dirty money. You think you can leverage that against me? He froze, then laughed, a brittle, hedge fund bark. Leverage?
Mom.
You're paranoid. This is elder abuse territory. Maybe you need help. The gauntlet thrown. He stormed out, tires screeching down Elm Street. I watched from the window, heart hammering. Step 1. Neutralize the weapon. But revenge isn't a checklist, it's a slow burn. And Ethan's scheming ran deeper than property deeds. That afternoon, I drove to Clara's studio in Pilsen, the artsy neighborhood pulsing with murals and food trucks. She hugged me fierce, paint smudged on her overalls. LYD. This is wild. The house. For real? For real. But keep it quiet. Ethan's got plans. And they don't include us. Over cheap tacos. I spilled the dream, the eviction, the overdose veiled as accident. Clara's eyes welled, but she nodded. That boy's always been a climber. Remember when he sold your garage sale finds online for profit? At 12. We laughed, but it was laced with sorrow. Clara was my anchor, the sister who'd seen Mark's true colors before I did. What now? She asked.
Now?
I vanish. Relocate. Malibu, sun. Surf. A fresh start on the equity from my savings. Her jaw dropped. Malibu? As in, California dreamin'? Girl, that's baller. It's survival. I'd cashed out my 401k early in this timeline. No waiting for the crash Ethan engineered in my first life by advising bad investments. 50 grand. Enough for a down payment on a condo overlooking the Pacific. Controversials again. Ditching family for self-preservation? In America, it's called reinvention. But it stings like abandonment. Ethan's text blew up my phone that night. This isn't over. You're making a mistake. Then calls from his concerned fiancée,
Brooke.
a Botoxed realtor who'd whispered poison in his ear since day one. Lydia. Honey. Let's talk. Ethan's devastated. Devastated? I blocked them both. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of that final night replaying, Ethan's hands steady as he force-fed the pills. Murmuring, "Sho.
Mom.
It's mercy. Mercy. My ass." Week 1 blurred into strategy sessions with Rebecca. We fortified the transfer, irrevocable trust. Clara as beneficiary, with clauses tying it to charitable donations if contested. Ethan lawyered up fast. Some cut-rate firms specializing in elder disputes. His angle, diminished capacity. Claim I was unstable, citing my sudden decisions as proof. The hearing loomed in 2 weeks. Cook County Courthouse. A concrete behemoth reeking of desperation. I prepped like a prize fighter. Therapy notes faked as legit. Thank God for sympathetic shrinks. Witness statements from coworkers praising my sharpness. But the real bomb? Digging up Mark. My ex was holed up in a Henderson strip mall casino, dealing blackjack to tourists. I flew out on a red-eye, landing in Vegas heat that slapped like judgment. Mark looked wrecked, paunchy, graying, but those shark eyes unchanged. Lydia? Christ. What brings you to this dump? Closure. Over watery diner eggs. I confronted him. The loans. The laundering. Ethan's using it. He blanched. Fork clattering. Kids bluffing. It was small-time shell contractors. Nothing stuck. Nothing until it does. Sign this. Affidavit absolving me. Admitting his sole culpability. He resisted, whining about loyalty, but when I dangled Clara's number, threat of family drama, he caved. Back in Chicago, that doc was gold. Ethan escalated midweek, showing up with Brooke and a social worker in tow.
Mom.
This is intervention time. The worker, a tired Latina named Maria, eyed the house warily. MS. Harper, your son reports concerns about your mental health. I invited them in. Served iced tea. All Southern hospitality masking steel. Concerns? Like how he's trying to steal my home. I laid out the transfer.
The affidavit.
My dream journal, detailed enough to pass as prescient paranoia. Brooke cooed. Lydia. Ethan's just worried. You're alone. Making rash choices. Rash or righteous? Maria shifted uncomfortably as I showed bank statements. My finance is solid. No red flags. Ethan seethed, veins bulging. This is bullshit. She's gaslighting everyone. The word hung, controversial as a lit match in dry grass. Gaslighting, the term du jour, weaponized by the guilty. Maria left neutral, promising a report. Ethan? He vowed war. As the hearing neared, tension coiled like a spring. I packed boxes quietly, Clara's now. But I'd stripped the personal photos. My nursing plaques.
The quilt from Grandma.
Malibu called. A glossy brochure mocking my midlife malaise. But doubt crept. Was I the villain here? Pitting sister against son?
No.
Survival demands hard lines. The courthouse day dawned gray. Rain slicking the steps. Ethan waited in the hall. Suit impeccable. Brooke on his arm like a trophy. Mom. Last chance. Drop the transfer. I'll help you relocate properly. Properly? Like the assisted living trap you planned. His flinch confirmed it. Inside, Judge Harlan, a grizzled vet with a soft spot for underdogs, presided. Rebecca shredded their case. No medical proof of incapacity. Transfer legal. Ethan's motives transparent via email trails we'd subpoenaed him to his broker. Mom's out soon, prime flip. Ethan's lawyer bleated undue influence. But Mark's affidavit gutted it. Judge's gavel. Petition denied. Yes. Harper retains full autonomy. Ethan bolted. Face thunderous. Victory tasted sweet, but hollow. The real revenge simmered beneath. Pop-up shows that drew hipsters and whispers of that crazy aunt who scored the tutor.
Ethan?
Radio silence. But I knew better. Silence was his scheming prelude. My new digs, a one-bed condo in Carbon Beach. Billionaire's Row, where waves whispered secrets to the stars. 50 grand down. Mortgage manageable on remote nursing consults. Telehealth boom. Baby. I woke to sunrises bleeding pink over the Pacific, brewing kale smoothies instead of regrets. But reincarnation's gift is double-edged, memories haunted like uninvited guests. That night with the pills? Ethan's voice echoed. For your own good.
Mom.
You're a burden now. Burden. The word festered. In my first life, I'd believed it. Nursed through chemo shifts while he jetted to conferences. Ignored my calls during his networking weekends. The hidden secret? Not just the money laundering. Ethan had a half-sister, Mark's love child from an affair. A girl named Riley in Reno, whom he'd tracked down via ancestry sites. Riley,
25.
Scraping by as a barista. ignorant of her trust fund potential. Ethan planned to reunite the family post-eviction, positioning himself as patriarch, squeezing Mark for more dirt to leverage against me. I'd uncovered it too late before, stumbling on his laptop during a visit to my assisted living purgatory. Emails to a PI confirm Riley's paternity. Leverage for inheritance claim. He'd intended to pit us all, me penniless. Clara sidelined, Riley as pawn, while he consolidated the Harper empire.
Monster. Now.
From my balcony perch, I plotted. Revenge American style, not capes and capers, but lawsuits, leaks, and leverage. First, fortify Malibu. I hired a PI of my own, Salazar, a grizzled ex-cop with a Rolodex dirtier than a dive bar floor. Lydia. What are we hunting? Ethan Harper. Full background, finances, affairs, skeletons. Sal grinned, yellow teeth flashing. Son.
Ha. Messy.
Gimme a week. While he dug, I rebuilt. Yoga on the beach with retirees swapping divorce war stories. Coffee runs to Earth Cafe, where influencers preened. Controversy brewed locally when I joined a women's investment club, mostly ex-wives like me, trading tips on alimony hacks. Ditched your kid in the transfer? One asked, sipping matcha.
Ballsy.
My ex's spawn got the yacht. I got the dog. Ballsy or broken? I countered. Laughter rippled, but eyes judged. In Cali, reinvention's gospel. But family feuds? That's trailer park drama in designer labels. Sal's report landed via encrypted drop. Ethan was leveraged to the gills, margin calls on crypto bets. Brooks ring a debt bomb ticking. Worse, he'd dipped into firm funds, cooking books for a side hustle in NFTs that tanked. The laundering tie? He'd emailed Mark, Dad, loop me in on old tricks. Mom's house flips clean. Mark, desperate, had schooled him small scale now, but escalating. The twist, Riley. Ethan had contacted her, posing as long-lost brother, spinning tales of shared fortune if she sued me for alienating family assets. She'd bitten, wary but hopeful. My half-sister, blood, estranged. Did I save her or scorch her? Decision time. Controversial as hell. Expose Ethan to Riley directly, risking her heartbreak. Or let her walk into his web. I chose truth. Cold and clean. Flight to Reno. A dusty motel meet. Riley was all cheekbones and caution, nursing a flat white. You Lydia? Ethan said you're difficult. I slid Sal's dossier across. Read this. Then decide. Her eyes scanned, widening at the fraud logs, the emails plotting her as bait. Tears hit the table. He seemed legit. Said we could fix Mom, our dad's mess. He's poison. Riley. But you're not. Walk away, or I'll help you bury him. She chose walk, smart kid. We hugged awkward. Strangers bonded by betrayal. Back in Malibu, I leaked snippets to Ethan's firm anonymously, SEC tip line. Vague but venomous. Whispers started. Audit rumors. Colleagues side-eyeing. Ethan cracked mid-December. Voicemail. Voice raw. Mom. What the fuck? My job's on the line. Tips? From you. I deleted it. But guilt gnawed. Was this justice or just vengeance porn? Clara called Christmas Eve. House aglow with string lights. Sis. Ethan's here. Begging. Says he'll make it right. Don't, I warned. He's a chameleon.
She sighed.
Blood's thick. LYD. But you're right, he's scheming again. Mentioned Riley. Some family reconciliation play. The pieces clicked. Ethan's endgame. Sue Clara for the house reversion. Claiming emotional duress on me. Involve Riley as witness. Painting me the unstable matriarch. Then, with me isolated in Malibu, he'd rescue me, gaslight into forgiving, reclaiming assets via power of attorney.
No.
Climax brewed, New Year's. I'd fly back, confront him at Clara's neutral dinner. Rebecca prepped countersuit, defamation,
Fraud.
but the real weapon?
Mark.
I wired him an ultimatum, testify against Ethan, or face Riley's wrath. Vegas, Redux. New Year's Eve casino din. Mark slurred over blackjack. LYD. Ethan's my boy. Boy? He's your echo. Laundering lies. Sign. Or Riley sues you dry. He signed. Shaking. Back home, Malibu felt like it now. I stared at the ocean. Waves eroding doubts. Trunks wasn't magic, it was math. Betrayal's equation. Input pain. Output payback. The dinner loomed. Tension thick as fog. Ethan arrived early. Clara's tree twinkling like false hope. Brooke stayed home, smart. Or scared. Mom, he started. Arms open. Truce. I stepped back. Truce? After the pills. His mask slipped. What pills? You're delusional. Riley burst in, dossier in hand. Delusional? Like this. Chaos erupted. Ethan lunged for papers. Clara blocked. Mark's affidavit I revealed last. His confession damning. Son, it read, I taught you wrong. Lydia's clean. Ethan crumpled. Sobbing, crocodile tears?
Mom.
I was scared.
Debt.
Pressure, I didn't mean. Lies end tonight. I nodded to Rebecca. Lurking in the hall. Cops followed, Sal's tip on active fraud. Ethan cuffed. Howling betrayal. You ruined me. For what? A house. For everything, I whispered. The life you stole. As they hauled him. Twist hit. Brooke. Waiting outside. Smirked into her phone. Recording? She'd flipped. Feeding me intel for a cut of the suit. Controversial alliance. Ex-fiancé as ally. America loves a heel turn. But deeper cut. Ethan's eyes. Locking mine. Not hate. Pity? You'll be alone forever. Mom. The words landed like shrapnel. Alone forever. Ethan's parting shot echoed through the new year. A mantra mocking my Malibu idol. Waves crashed indifferent. But inside, the condo felt cavernous. Echoes of laughter that never was. Photos of Ethan as a gap-toothed kid now boxed in storage. Justice tasted like bile. Revenge. A hollow high. I'd won the house. The suit settled out of court. Ethan pleading to misdemeanor fraud. Disbarred dreams dashed. Clara thrived. Turning the Tudor into a community art hub. Tax breaks galore. Riley visited monthly. Our bond tentative but real. Half-sisters swapping stories over Pacific tacos. Yet the twist lingered. Festering. In my first death, Ethan's mercy kill stemmed from desperation. Yes, but love? Twisted. Possessive. He'd confessed in a jailhouse letter. Smuggled via Brooke. Mom. I couldn't watch you fade poor and forgotten. The pills.
Mercy.
Now you hate me forever.
Mercy.
The word ignited fury anew. I'd rewritten the script, but endings aren't tidy. They're American messy. Therapy sessions unpacking codependency. Support groups for estranged parents, where wine flowed freer than tears. Controversial? Admitting your revenge birthed more isolation? That's the gut punch no self-help book preps you for. Spring bloomed. Dogwoods mocking my barren balcony. Sal called. Lydia. Loose end. Ethan's out on probation. Bunking with Brooke. But he's talking therapy. Redemption arc. Redemption? For the boy who'd plotted my erasure? I drove to Chicago. Unannounced. The skyline a smug sentinel. Clara's house, our house, glowed renovated. Murals vibrant. She hugged tight. Sis. You didn't say. Impulse. Ethan was inside. Painting trim, community service? He looked hollowed. Jail jumpsuit traded for jeans. Eyes downcast. Mom. Voice cracked. Brooke hovered. But I waved her off. Kitchen showdown. Coffee steaming like unspoken sins.
Why?
I demanded. The truth. Ethan. No scripts. He sank into a chair. Hands trembling.
Fear.
You were everything strong. Unbreakable. But after Dad.
The debt.
I saw you cracking. Nursing shifts. Alone. I thought, if I controlled the money, I'd save us. The house flip? For a fresh start together. But you fought.
And I.
Panicked. Panic? You poisoned me. Tears tracked. The pills, God.
Mom.
I didn't mean overdose. Just sedate. Talk sense. It went wrong. When you woke ranting dreams, I knew you knew. The revelation twisted. In my first life, I'd survived the pills initially. Confronted him weakly. He'd finished it kindly.
Now.
Foreknowledge had severed that thread. But his motive? Not pure greed, obsessive protection. Warped by abandonment scars. I hated you for leaving me vulnerable, he whispered. So, I made you vulnerable first. Sympathy surged. Unwanted. Controversial climax. Forgive? America's obsessed with second chances, prodigal sons, family reunions on steroids. But I died for this. You killed the mother who loved you, I said.
Twice.
In a way. He nodded. Broken. Can I earn it back? The decision hung. Heavier than deeds. I walked out. Into Clara's garden. Riley waiting with wine. What now? She asked. Now, we live. But live how? Back to Malibu. I sold the condo, too isolated. Bought a Craftsman in Santa Monica. Closer to Riley's planned move west. Therapy unpacked the rage. Yoga bent it into resilience. Summer solstice. Beach bonfire. Clara flew in. Riley too. We burned Ethan's letter. Flames devouring words. To do-overs, Clara toasted. Twists echo. A call from Ethan. Clean now, 6 months sober. Job at a nonprofit. Mom.
I'm sorry.
Not for show.
Can we
talk? No pressure. I paused. Ocean sighing. Happy ending? Tragic? Life's both. Reincarnation's lesson. Revenge resets the board. But grace shuffles the deck. One coffee, I said. Neutral ground. We met in a Venice diner. Awkward as new shoes. He looked human, vulnerable. Not villain. Stories spilled. His therapy revelations. Brooks exit. She'd cashed her cut. Vanished to Miami. I get it now.
Mom.
Control was my drug. Forgiveness isn't erasure, I warned.
It's
Coexistence. He nodded. Steps, not leaps. Months blurred. Tentative calls. A shared hike where he admitted the Riley plot. Stupid power grab. She forgave, first. Fierce as fire. Fall returned. Leaves turning in Chicago visits. The house, Clara's fortress, hosted us all. Tentative family. Ethan helped renovate the basement. Murals his penance brushstrokes. No full redemption. Scars linger. Trust of fragile bloom. In Malibu's shadow. My true home, Santa Monica. I wrote this catharsis. Warning. Trunks and taut. Betrayal's roots run deep. But so does choice. I chose tension over tranquility. Controversy over complacency. Sun gave 30 days. I gave a lifetime rewritten, reclaimed. And, in the quiet nights, waves whispering, I wonder, was death the hook? Or the hook the life unlived? Either way, I'm here, Lydia Harper. Survivor. Schemer no more. Just a woman. Mending.